So we have all 30 meters of our chain down. Sailing with a schedule is never a good idea, which is why when we arranged to meet friends on the south of Sardinia, we gave ourselves 2 weeks to do the passage from Sicily, which should normally take 3 days. But with constant squalls, lightning, and heavy weather systems plaguing the Mediterranean, it started to seem like 2 weeks wouldn't even be enough. Join us as we obsessively check the weather and try to get further west.
I'm Aladino. I'm both Swiss and Italian and a boat builder by profession.
And I'm Maya, a Canadian artist and sailor. This is our home, Magic Carpet. She's a Vinda 32, though she's only 28 feet long. And 4 years ago, she fell 20 feet off a crane onto concrete. Insurance wrote her off, but Aladino bought her, fixed her, and now she's our home. Our mission? To sail around the world as slowly as possible. After all the excitement of the previous episode, we found ourselves in the well-protected and lovely harbor of Shaka, where we planned to stay a few nights and wait out heavy winds.
We are in Shaka right now. It is actually still blowing outside. The marina is incredibly nice, especially how it's kept and the decoration around it.
The harbor was indeed beautiful, perhaps the perfect place to wait for winds to pass. The town of Shaka is renowned for its ceramics, and ornately decorated tiles can be found everywhere. Plus, there are many of the delicious pastries which Sicily is famous for.
Maya Rovegno,
Yes,
you want to tell us what this Italian delicacy is in front of you?
I would. So, well, actually I don't remember the name. What is it?
Baba al rum.
Baba al rum. And I've only had this once before, and I had it in Milan when I was traveling with my best friend Esme. And I had no idea what it was, but we were getting breakfast and we just walked into a little bakery, and it looked vaguely like a muffin. Like the ones that we got, it didn't have the whipped cream in it, so it was just kind of like this vaguely muffin shaped thing. So I got one, and my friend Esme also got one, so we both got them. And the woman, she put this kind of liqueur on top of it and stuff, or some kind of syrup, we thought, I don't know. And it's 7 in the morning. And it's soaked in rum and liqueur. And we were just like, oh my god. Now it's later in the day, and I do often like pastries that involve
Booze.
rum flavor, like rum balls at Christmas. Oh, so good. So now I got one, and I think it's a much better time than 7 in the morning when you're not expecting it.
To each one her own. And this one instead is mousse all'anguria, which is watermelon mousse. Never tried it before, so
Oh my god, this is
first
so
try.
good. So good.
There's worse ways of letting the Mistral pass by, isn't there?
We spent days meandering through Shaka, watching the weather for any signs of a window. After a while, we had to just make a decision, stay or go. Today, it's not ideal, but basically for the next week, nothing is ideal. And if we want to make a bit of time, this morning actually looks like one of the best times to do that.
Yeah, because Tuesday's a day to hunker down. So today being Sunday,
Tuesday it's gonna blow.
We make
really
a little
strong
headway, and then Monday again to stay somewhere Tuesday.
Yeah. We stocked up with groceries at a store nearby the harbor and headed out around noon. So we are now underway. We decided to leave. We're gonna take advantage of this little weather window, and it is glorious weather right now. We just have the most refreshing breeze, and it's the most perfect temperature in the world, and I am so happy. After a whole summer of sweating every moment of the day, even when you're swimming, it felt like I was sweating. This is everything I ever could have wanted. A cool breeze.
It was
perfect.
A sweaty month of August.
It was so sweaty, and it honestly just started to drag on my mood because the whole day, as soon as the sun came up, you couldn't do anything. So you were limited to the early morning and the late evening. Sailing just basically meant like huddling beneath the bimini trying to find shade. Like the whole day just revolved around trying to stay cool. And it's so nice to have just a little bit of like a bite to the air, because I've got so much more energy. Like I can go for a run and I can do things during the day, and it just makes such a difference. My Canadian self is pleased. We motored for the rest of the day, heading ever more west. Yeah, so just to explain the situation a little bit, because we had quite a difficult time just deciding what we were going to do this morning. But we wanted to get a lot further west, and our big dilemma is that there's a big southern wind forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday, with winds that we don't really want to get caught in. We were just trying to figure out the best place to be to avoid these winds. The thing with Shaka, it's a nice protected harbor and it's really cheap, but we also have to get over to Sardinia by a certain date. How much time do we have to get to Sardinia now?
10 days.
10 days. We have 10 days to get to Sardinia, and the way the weather forecast is, that might actually be kind of tight because we have to really wait for a window. So we thought there's a window today, we're going to leave Shaka, we're going to go as far west as we can, just getting ready to jump over to Sardinia, and we'll find a spot over here to wait out the south winds, which is what we are going to do. We have tomorrow to find a good spot, and yeah, we'll take it from there. And so we continued on into the night.
Monday morning here in Marsala, and it is time to continue now. Today, as you remember, is our weather window, so we got calm seas and calm winds, but there is something coming, so we still want to get behind Favignana, which is an island. And actually yesterday we thought we would get there at around midnight, but then weather changed a bit and there was lightning and thunderstorm approaching. It was still a bit far off, but we decided to come here, have a calm night and anchor, and right about midnight it passed over our heads, but we were cozy in our bunks. Now we continue the journey.
As we went to find shelter behind the island of Favignana, clouds began to cover the sky with interesting patterns, foreshadowing the storm supposed to hit the next day. The weather was supposed to come up from the south, so we headed to the northern side of Favignana to seek shelter.
So about an hour ago we rounded the point with the lighthouse and we arrived here on the northern side of the island, but we realized that we have to take it step by step because right now it still is very rolly from the north. So we ate something, but we realized it's really not comfortable, almost got seasick eating. So we go back to the point that we just rounded with the lighthouse, and we'll try to stay in that bay because the winds, they will veer from where they are now northwest around to east, maybe get a strong blow in the evening. That's what the forecast says. The southerly winds which will come, but it will be not until tomorrow later in the afternoon. So I think we're gonna stay there first, and then as the wind changes direction and moves around, we might come back here and anchor again.
We moved to be protected from the residual swell, and when evening came, we went to shore.
Swimming was pretty nice.
Swimming was so nice.
Temperature-wise, it was a nightmare. It is
Oh my God.
so cold, so that is actually
We could not
really
disagree more.
unfortunate
No.
because I couldn't stay in the water 5 minutes to actually check it out, but it looked really beautiful and I wish I could have stayed longer.
So yeah, the one thing Aladino and I really can't agree on is what is the ideal temperature. And right now I find this at the moment to be the most perfect temperature imaginable. It is so nice. It is so nice. So I'm just walking along to the lighthouse. We're gonna go look at it. Aladino saw a little food stall from the boat. He got pretty excited. It's like we don't have any food on the boat. We have so much food on the boat. But Dini always is hungry. Are you getting something, Dini? No? So cute though. So the lighthouse is locked behind a big fence, but there it is. The next morning, the sky looked pretty impressive. Yeah, we have quite the clouds building up behind me, and the barometer has dropped. So we're in for a bit of weather, but we already knew that, and it's all coming from the south, where we will be protected from the south at our anchorage that we're heading to now. We've got a good anchor, and we'll just wait it out.
It'd be nice sailing weather.
It would be really nice sailing weather right now.
Excellent wind, because it's quite flat, but it's a good stiff breeze. But we're just headed around the corner, and it looks like over there it's raining already, so let's just hunker down.
Yeah. So we have now anchored, and Aladino is just going to put the bridle on the chain again, I think. These clouds behind me are looking as impressive as ever. So crazy. And I think the rain is going to hit soon, which feels so surreal because right now it's so sunny and beautiful. The water's turquoise. Are you just grabbing the bridle, Amore?
Yep.
Wait, what's that? Oh, that's anti-chafe, isn't it? Yeah, nice. This is just an old piece of hose that Aladino cut. But then you wrap it around the bridle so that where it touches the edge of the boat, it doesn't chafe the rope.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have all 30 meters of our chain down, and plus some extra rope, and plus the bridle, just to make sure that everything is all good. Just to make extra sure, we dove down to have a look at the anchor. It was securely dug in, and we felt confident that the imposing clouds would bring us no harm. But in the meantime, the water was a gorgeous turquoise and the sand a pearly white, so we swam around, delighted to be in such clean water.
I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? Pass the paper, my desk is out. Who will care for the world out?
The clouds kept moving closer and closer, and after a little while, we decided to go for a quick run on shore. We're going to shore for a bit of a run. It's clouded over now, but still not rainy yet. The run turned into more of a hike along some small dirt paths on the cliffside.
It's how Maya said, it's a Geisenbock trail, which pretty much means it's a goat trail.
It's a goat path.
It's a goat path. Earl Grey. You smell it?
Yeah, totally. There must be a bergamot plant around here somewhere.
Or a Brit living around here.
We returned to the boat as the sun started going down. Still no rain, but the wind had changed direction and gotten a bit gusty. Still, it was nowhere near the force that our weather forecasting app had predicted.
To say, I'm pretty happy that it's not raining yet. It can rain all it wants when I'm in my bunk sleeping, all cozy. The sunset's beautiful. It was a really nice hike on the island, so actually it was a very enjoyable Tuesday. Different from what the forecast predicted. Well, it also is our preparation and being back here, but it is gusty and it changed direction a lot, and I mean I can see the clouds, but for now it's all good. And now to dinner plans.
Lightning flashed in the distance, but by now that had started to seem like an everyday occurrence. We ate dinner and settled in for the night.
Good morning from aboard Magic Carpet. It is sunny outside and we seem to have been lucky this time. Maybe it's a little microclimate around the islands here, but as we were having dinner yesterday night and before going to bed, we were surrounded by thunder and lightning. It was all around, but it seems to have passed right and left. Not even a single raindrop over our head, which I really expected there would be. There are still clouds on the horizon, but all in all, it's looking pretty good. And where we are is also fantastic. We got turquoise waters, super sandy, absolutely no worries about the boat, and it's well anchored. The storms seem to have solved, and pressure is rising again, and good weather is ahead. So the little stick on the left, the golden one, I can move that one. That one is kind of to remember where it was, and that's where it had fallen to, and now it has risen, so I can count actually how much change was going on. And now actually I go back and I put it on where it's now, so whatever happens I can always come back and look how did it change compared to how it was. But from what I've seen on the weather forecast, we should even get to 1020. Yeah, a little high pressure, which is a good thing.
The weather system seemed to have passed by, and now all we needed was a good 2-day window to make the crossing over to Sardinia. Join us next week as we make a split-second decision to leave, and we stow away to Sardinia in the middle of the night. As always, a giant thank you to our patrons for making these episodes possible. If you're interested in joining Patreon and getting some behind-the-scenes content, please have a look at the link in the description below. And an extra special thank you to these folks who go above and beyond every week and every month in making sure that these episodes continue. Thank you to all of you, and we'll see you in the next video.